You are listening to SheKings with Erica and Allie. This is a podcast for peasants who don't want to live shitty lives. Every week we share insights on how to stop living out of habit and start living out of inspiration. So let's do this. Good morning. Good afternoon.
Good. Yeah, good evening.
Man, what is going on with this energy? You're all bright and buzzy, and I'm actually ready to go back to sleep, and it's 9:54 here, my time.
Yeah, which is, I won't say it's usually opposite that, but you are the Energizer bunny. So this is shocking.
Right. I know. I've been sleeping so much, so I'm just taking advantage of it, doing what I do, and gonna go ahead and take a nap after we hop off here.
Listen, I'm a firm believer in naps, and I think you should take advantage of this time, enjoy it to the fullest.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, well, the sun's coming out now, but Erica and I were talking about aliens being like hovering over in our atmosphere. So I think they're getting ready to beam me up.
They're just getting your body ready.
Yeah, my legs are itching. I was like, what is going on?
Aliens.
It is crazy. Yeah. So welcome to SheKings, everyone. And we'll dive a little bit into aliens. Just kidding. We won't. But every week, this is what we do. However, we bring clarity to overused spiritual buzzwords and little known spiritual concepts so that you can live a life with more freedom and ease. And today we are on episode 43. And it's going to piggyback onto potential. So if you haven't listened to the episode for last week, hop on and listen to it about potential, because we're going to talk a little bit more about potential. But first and foremost, Erica, how are you? Besides being the Energizer bunny looking all bright today.
I did a podcast interview for some lawyers. I've been doing a lot of work with lawyers again. That's my old world. And so, yeah, I had to put on makeup because it was also recorded. I was like, let me go ahead and post on Insta. I'm probably going to record like 90 videos today with this energy and this face. You're welcome.
Right. Just keep changing your top, changing your location. So it looks like you are like in different places, shooting at different times, but it's going to be all in the next 20 minutes.
Yeah. That's all I have. Also, before Asha takes over my whole life.
Absolutely.
Because I hear her. What's up with you, girly? Other than being extremely tired, what are you doing?
Yeah. Nothing. Just waiting for when the studio can open and just hanging out, enjoying my downtime. Yeah.
It can open next week.
I mean, people are opening now, but it's so restrictive. So we can have 4 students in the studio at a time. Okay. 6 feet in between. So I don't think people are going to be renting the space because that's not going to work for them as far as getting people in to rent and raise money to pay rent.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm just hanging out. That's all I'm doing. I got really nothing going on. Doing a little bit of online stuff, but that's it.
Yeah.
Just enjoying this downtime.
Listen, enjoy it. I'm all about downtime. It's my favorite thing.
I'm really happy about it. I'm excited about it to do nothing for a while.
Yeah. Love yourself.
Yeah.
Love yourself.
I don't think we've gone into, so for the favorite thing, I do want to talk a little bit more about the Mung bean cleanse. So if anybody's been trying it, we would like to hear like any results, because I know we posted it a while ago and both Erica and I did it for a while.
Did we post that?
I think you posted it like a while ago.
I don't think so.
No?
And I also don't think that we included it in the last episode. I think we cut out that talking about that part, so they don't know about the mung beans.
Well, for this,
so we'll probably have to cut this part too. So
no, this is my shit right now. This is my shit thing is the mung beans. So the mung beans, it's part of a cleanse like Kitchery, and this is day, I want to say 22 that I've been doing it.
Mhm.
So you can do you could do it as long as you want, like 4 days, 7 days, 10 days, 21
Oh, you
days.
know what? We actually did leave in some part about the mung beans, the part
Yeah,
where we're each getting younger and younger by the
right.
moment.
I thought I
Yeah.
remember hearing that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, but this time, let's add that, just your whole write up on the mung bean thing that you sent me for people who are interested, because I really do want to. I want to see if people are going to do it, what their, results with it, their experience with it. I'm really interested.
What if we lead a group of people through it? What if we
Yeah.
ask if people want to sign up and
Okay.
get them? And I don't know if you can do it again, but I can do it again.
No,
And
I'm
maybe just 7
still
days.
doing it. Yeah, I'm still doing it. I don't know, because the full expression is 6 weeks. So,
Girl,
I mean, I got
that
nothing on.
I sent you something that said 10 days. And you
However, I Googled
decided to
it.
go 9 million days.
I Googled it and I read this gal's, she did it, and but she was in a spa, but hers was 6 weeks. And then Wakenda has done it in Sri Lanka, and theirs was 6 weeks. And so I was just like, well, then let me see what 6 weeks looks like. But I'm at 22 days. Nothing's sounding good as far as getting off of it.
Mhm.
So I'm just going to stick with it. I think today's more of a fasting day for me, though.
Yeah,
So yeah, we'll see. But anywho, it's my favorite thing, the health benefit. So yeah, let's put something together and see if people want to join, and let's do it again
of
or
course they
keep
want
doing
to
it.
join.
Of course they do. Why would they not? Yeah.
Yeah.
So episode 43, what are we going to talk about?
So for this episode, we are going back into potential and we are going to walk everyone through 3 simple steps to fully unleash your potential. So last week we talked about the top 4 reasons that you're screwing up your potential. And so we are going to address those 4 reasons. And I think step 2, how to get around those things. And then in steps 1 and 3, we are just going to get you ready and started and finished with unleashing everything that you have flowing through you to the world. So,
Nice. I love it.
step 1 is understanding what your potential really is. Can you speak to that a bit, Allie?
Yeah, that one is, I mean, it's not, I don't want to say tricky, but there's so much depth to it,
Yeah.
because whatever you're doing in the moment, and however you're in whatever you're doing, that's your potential. And it has
Hmm.
nothing to do with the outcome of what you're doing. um it's not based on what you're observing.
Hmm.
It's none of those things. It's literally what you're doing in any given moment is your potential. So, and I always like to use the example of, so if you're doing something and you die,
Hmm.
you've reached your highest potential in it. Like, that's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, like you did the best you could absolutely possibly do in that one thing. Or, I think that a lot of things, a lot of people get tripped up with this idea of reaching your potential in some greater sense. But,
Yeah.
like you're saying, if you're washing dishes right now, and I love Byron Katie, who does the work. She talks about this. She's like, I'm washing dishes sometimes, and maybe I rinse them off, and I see some bubbles are still left on the dishes, and I think to myself, I'm not about to rinse it off again. She was like, I that was my highest potential, bubbly dishes, right? And so it is sort of, there's a nod to the energy that is coming through you at that particular moment. And if your energy at that particular moment is saying, I can't be bothered to like re-rinse that dish, then you've reached the highest potential of the energy that you have. And so then also when you start to switch into the things that really drive you, your creative juices, again, your potential is the energy that is coming through you. And really uh, being inner focused on that potential that is trying to come through you and flow out of you, as opposed to what people normally do, which is like, oh, well, I don't know how I'm going to get to the next thing because, my circumstances are this,
Right.
you know, I was talking with the lawyers today, and it was like a lot of lawyers can't see their way out of lawyering. It's like, well, that's my education. That's all I can do. And so that is looking at your outer circumstances and deciding what's possible from there, as opposed to checking inside and being like, oh crap, there is some energy, there's some power flowing through me to wash these dishes, to paint this painting, to, make this music, to start this business. Like, this is when we are talking about understanding what your potential really is, we're talking about that inner God connection power that's coming through, not the potential of what you can see every day.
Yep.
Um, yeah.
Right, because
So,
we're the one who says that this isn't good enough or I should be doing more. Like today, my potential is this right here.
oh, praise him, praise him, praise
And then,
him.
seriously, and then after that, like that's it. I'm done for the day. I can already feel it where I'm just like, I'm done. And that's my potential. And then the next day may feel different, not
Yeah.
necessarily look different, but feel different, to do something else. So I taught a yoga class or a yoga session to a client, and then ran an errand recording.
Yeah.
That's my potential right now.
I just love that, because just I can feel the love that you have for yourself and saying like, this is my potential right now.
Yeah.
And there is a misalignment when one feels like you feel today,
Yeah.
like just, I don't have it. And you say, I'm going to push through and have some other greater, quote unquote, greater potential. It's not greater if it's going to break your butt down
Yeah.
because you decided to do something that didn't serve you.
Yeah.
Allie, I also wonder, as we were preparing for this, I was thinking like, what is that energy that always comes through in every interaction that I have? Like, what is that potential that's always trying to like push through me? What's
Mm-hmm.
yours? What's that thing that's just kind of your theme for yourself and being with other people?
So are you would like being a teacher? Is that
Mm,
no?
I think just like I think about for me, mine is always to tell stories, like to tell stories
Oh,
of love, to tell stories of connection. And so, like talking to a child, it's always about like the little train that could. It's always like, you can do this. It's always, I can meet a stranger on the street or a person in the, airport or whatever it is. Like, always the thing that wants to come through me is this like story of people and love and connection and sort of the what's underneath whatever we see,
mm,
like how we're really connected. I always want to talk about that.
yeah.
What's your thing like that?
I don't honestly like. I love being quiet
Yeah.
and just listening, like especially when I'm in a group of people and just observing.
Yeah.
And then if something comes through to share, or if I'm asked a question, then to
Yeah.
just be open to it, but just silence. Like I really like being quiet,
Yeah.
and like pretty much everything that I do, I'm just like just quiet, just watching people. Like I get
I
people
have
watch for
to
hours.
I have to imagine that really puts people at ease and like lets them be in their quiet
Yeah.
too. But you're also energizer. I think this is also a reflection of your energy right now, because you are an energizer bunny
I
sometimes.
am, and it only comes through like when I'm talking or speaking or doing different stuff. But even when I have a lot like a lot of energy, I just kind of coast and just,
Yeah.
especially when I'm around people. When it's just me,
Yep.
I'm like just going crazy. Or when if I'm talking to you.
Yeah, right. Or us.
But and so we get caught up in, okay, potential means busy, 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 doing all those things, when truly potential can show up so many different ways.
Oh,
Potential can show up in just being quiet, resting,
yes.
listening, drawing. Like anything that you're doing in the moment is potential.
Yeah.
So changing that story to I have to be busy, I have to be doing A, B, and C is all that needs to shift so you can actually start creating space for your potential and recognizing it as your potential.
Yes, yes, yes,
So
yes, yes. I love that. So that is step one. Understand what your potential really is. It's the energy that is coming through you in the moment. It could be silence. It could be telling stories of love. It could be half-ass washing your dishes. It could be resting. It could be any number of things. Like, be with it. What is the second step of this?
so understanding how not to get in the way of it. And yeah, that what we just talked about flows really good into this segment of it, is because so getting in the way of it like right now would be me pushing through, me going, nope, I have so much to do today, I have to do this, I have to do that, but I'm getting in the way of how my potential wants to show up, which could just be
Absolutely.
resting.
Absolutely. And
So
so once we are connected to this flow of energy and something is like, I would like to come through, then we don't block it. And last week we talked about like, what are those blocks?
yeah.
Right? And so we said the first one is being scattered and unfocused, right? And when you are this way, you cannot channel that energy into something that can actually grow because you're putting a drop in a million buckets as opposed to letting the energy flow into, one or two things that really are meaningful to you. So how do we confront and confront that issue so that we're not letting ourselves be scattered and, and unfocused?
I love this whole thought process of when we rest, when we unplug, that's when we get like our greatest downloads.
Oh, yes.
And so that is like the quiet time I get excited about the non-doing is because ooh, I'm about to get something really, really good.
Yes.
And it might show up in the first day, the first week.
Uh-huh.
One time it was a couple of months where I was just like, nothing's going on. And then just like, and then when I surrendered into the non-doing, then just a whole bunch of information came to me of what needed to be done next.
Yeah.
And so that's how I like pull all my energy in and just rest so then I can get like really good information. So I'm not trying to throw things at the wall and see what sticks. Like
Yes.
I'll know for sure that this is my next move.
Absolutely.
And so the
I
quiet time,
completely
yeah,
I identify with that because I've actually spent the first like 5 months of the year to like I'm not doing anything. I've
yeah,
got nothing. And now there was a massive shift
yeah,
happening within me at that time. And I can just feel, and it's not to say that any one thing that I'm doing right now is going to quote unquote get any particular result. It's just that the recalibration of sort of my physical, mental, emotional body happened. And so all of that energy that was feeling scattered, like you said, oh, I should do this, I should do that. It's
yeah,
now like so super clear. So,
yes,
you know, letting the quiet come in. I think the other thing is to commit.
mm-hmm,
And we don't use this idea enough. And I feel like commitment really addresses a lot of the different things that we said were issues last week.
yep,
Say to yourself, this is what I'm doing,
mm-hmm,
and hold it to be the center. Hold this to be the thing that you are going to do no matter what. Um, and all of a sudden, we posted that quote about commitment. Life starts to bring you things that it would never have brought you before.
yes,
So the second thing that we said gets in the way of potential coming through is being distracted.
yep.
What do you say to that, Allie? How do we get around that?
I always like to go back to keep the main thing the main thing.
Yeah.
So if you're saying this is what I want to do, I'm going to rest, then find rest in everything that you do and understand that there is a difference between like avoidance and rest. Whatever feeling, I mean, I don't even know how to say this, like if there's a productive way to rest, then that's what I'm talking about.
Well, I think that
Like,
there's resting that is what you feel needs to happen right now. Like you couldn't
yeah.
do anything else if you wanted to. And then there's that hiding resting. Like there's that
Yes.
Netflix resting. There's that the power is coming through and I'm cutting that shit off resting.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's just keeping the main thing the main thing. So for today, the main thing would just be like inspiration. And that's my main thing. And I'm going to rest and just be open to any type of inspiration that comes through. If it comes through today, wonderful. If not, awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, making the main thing the main thing. Again, commit.
Yep.
Commit. This is what I'm doing. Um, the third thing we said could get in the way during our last episode was future tripping. What do we do to stop constantly? Because like the energy's coming through and you're like, oh my gosh, I really want to do this thing. You know, because you feel it, you feel pushed, you feel pulled, you feel moved to do something. And then you're like, what if it doesn't work?
Yes.
And then you stop dead in your tracks, or I can't figure out how it's going to work. And so then you stop dead in your tracks. How do we combat that one, Allie?
Oh, that's one of my favorite ones is just be focused on your system. Be focused on what you're doing in the moment and don't even
Mm,
worry about the outcome because the outcome can change just like this. It doesn't
yeah.
matter about the outcome. The outcome isn't even real. It's the system. I'm doing A, B, and C, not even worried about what it's going to equal. I just know that I'm supposed to do this. Like this is what I'm supposed to be doing in this moment. And so just always pull yourself back from this is the outcome or this is how I hope it's going to turn. It's just like, nope, I'm just working the system because there's power in the system. Like you're healing, you're growing, you're being open as you're working the system. None of that is going to happen from the outcome
Yep.
necessarily. The outcome is just the outcome. So just sticking with this is what I got going on and just work the system, whatever the system is.
Whatever it is. Like for me,
Yeah.
the system is typically, if I will let the energy just flow, it's breadcrumbs. Like that's my system. It's like just do the thing right here, right now. And then the next breadcrumb will come. Right. So you were talking about my Facebook post. One
Yeah.
will drop into my head and I'm like, da 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 da. And then maybe another one drops in and I'm like, da da. I'm not blocking the flow. And so the system is just like, I don't know, whatever they say is next, right? I will
Right.
do whatever they say is next. So the next one is that we talked about last week, in terms of this gets in the way of letting the potential flow, is when we are disconnected and confused about the energy that wants to come through us.
Yeah.
How do we get that disconnection and confusion to be connection and clarity?
Well, your favorite thing, which is just sitting still, doing your open mouth breathing,
Praise him.
because it's like with everything, everything that wants to come through, our ego is going to latch onto it and create a story about it. And so if you can find that just quietness, closing your eyes, going in, doing your open mouth breathing, then it's more of a feeling versus like that conscious reasoning, that story. So like when people ask, is it source? Am I being guided or is it me? Like how can you tell? That's how you can
Mm-hmm.
tell. If there's
Mm-hmm.
a reason, if there's any fear around it, then that's you. If it's just a feeling
Absolutely.
where you're just like, oh, this feels really good, I'm just gonna go for it, then
Yes.
that's source. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. People rewind that, get back 15 seconds, 30 seconds, and like process what the heck this woman just said. All right. And so that, kind of takes us through this idea of not, not getting in the way of the potential that wants to flow through you. And I want to, just re-emphasize that we are powerful creators
Yeah.
in the sense that we are the universe. We are God. And so this energy is flowing through us, and our mind will always be the bottleneck. Our mind will always be the thing that, you know, closes off the flow of that energy.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And so think of that is gone. And then, yeah, things can just like flow through you, can flow through you without any obstruction. So, number three is, oh, I love this one. Like, how can you tap into that? So, the universe is pouring stuff into you. Like, how can you take advantage of that flow without the
Absolutely.
bottleneck coming into play?
This this is step 3. This is the thing that you have got to do. If you've listened to everything we've said, please process this.
Yeah.
When the energy comes through, act immediately.
Immediately. Yes. Yes. And I love what you put underneath, like, look stupid. Do the prompt. So, okay, seriously, this just came to me, and I think it's a perfect example. It's like when people are moved, like all of a sudden when they're moved, and I think about that with the babies, is when they're moved and they want to do something, they just do it. So think about the little ones when they hear music and they don't care where they are, they just start dancing because they can feel it and it feels so
Yep.
good. And then when you see adults, like all of a sudden they have their earphones on and having music, and all of a sudden they just start dancing. The first thing that we do, like some people are just like, weirdo or whatever,
Right.
but it's like, no, that was a prompt. Like, oh my gosh, I feel so good. I want to move my body. And they do it.
Yes.
They listen to it. And so it's the same thing. Like, ooh, I really want to write this down. Write it down immediately.
Yes.
Byron Katie touched on that a little bit too, where when you have those prompts, get out of bed, go brush your teeth. Get up
Yeah.
and go brush your teeth. Like those are energy messages flowing through you to move you. Just be like,
Absolutely.
oh, because once you do this, then you feel a certain way, and then you kick out a frequency, which leads you to this, and then you do that. And it's so easy to get a prompt, to act immediately on it, and then another prompt, and then get in your way. Right.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
I
no,
mean,
don't even think about it. Just go, just do it. Just absolutely do it.
and I think that's the most important part. And like, maybe it's just a note to self, you know, don't think about it. Don't overthink it. Because
Yeah.
for me, as soon as I stop doing, what did you call it? Your process,
Oh yeah, the system.
the system. As soon as I stop working my system, which is to just get the message to do the thing, as soon as I stop and start to think, all of a sudden I'm future tripping. I'm like, well, what's the best strategy? How's the best way? I can't figure it. And then it, the energy just literally stops. It gets caught in the bottleneck. It gets closed off in the mind, and it just wanted to just gush out. And
Yeah.
now it's done.
And it doesn't have to make any sense. It doesn't,
Nope.
it truly is just a feeling, because everything is based off of feeling. So when you feel a certain way, you honor it, then that calls in something else. And then you feel a certain way, you honor it, that calls in something else. It doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to lead you to an outcome, except
Mm-mm.
simply feeling. And that
Absolutely. But
feeling is your
yeah,
highest potential.
that's the thing that is so important for people to know. And this is something that Allie and I have been talking about for 42 episodes before this. Every time we talk about what it is that you want, we always say, come back to what is the feeling of what you want and how can you be in that feeling right now. So rather than going for that, because we do, and this is Abraham with the law of attraction, everything that we want it because we believe that we will feel better. We will feel better in the having of it.
Yeah.
It is never about the thing. It is always about the feeling. And so when the feeling is coming through, honor it.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Absolutely love that. And then when you honor it in that moment, you're in your highest potential. You're
Absolutely.
in your highest potential. And then when you don't overthink it, and when you stop letting go of all the stories about worrying about if you're smart enough, if you're good enough, if you're tall enough, if you're special enough, if you are copying other people, when you're duplicating what other people say because you think that's safe, right? It was accepted for them, so it'll be accepted with me.
Mm-hmm.
And if you just start showing up in the now and let the energy flow through you, and I like how you said that, like you keep the faucet on, just let it flow. And yeah, you may be uncomfortable, but that uncomfortableness is so important because it's allowing you to work through it, to start learning not to care about it. And then, oh my gosh, what happened? The world is still turning.
Absolutely.
Nobody gives a fuck that you just broke out dancing in the
Yep.
middle of the street because you're just so moved to do it. Nobody
Yep.
cares. Like, absolutely nobody cares.
And I think the other thing, one of the fears that I hear a lot is that the faucet is going to run, is going to be too much. I'm not going to have time to be with my family. I'm not going to have time to, but I mean, you do control the faucet.
Yeah.
So, and you do focus on the feeling. And so if you want to turn the faucet off, then turn it off. If you want to have the feeling of being with your family or fitness or this or that, then let yourself do that. If the feeling is coming through, absolutely, you honor all the feelings immediately.
Yeah.
And so I think, not even worrying about if you're going to miss something or something will be affected because you let the faucet flow in this moment. That's another version of future tripping when you start to worry about what happens if I just let all of this energy come through.
Well, and that's the
Relax.
thing too, is understanding that the energy flows through you and it's one constant stream that can be expressed doing this and being with your family and
Yeah.
going to the gym and your quiet time. It's just a constant flow. And you can do whatever you want to do and still honor the flow of it. Like, it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be compartmentalized. It could just be like,
Absolutely.
no, that's just how it wants to show up and express itself, like
Absolutely.
right now. Yeah. And
Absolutely.
that goes back to, that's your potential. Like
Yep.
that is
In this
it. Your
moment.
highest potential. Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that book, After Your Enlightenment, the Dishes, or something like that. It's like, yeah, you can let all of this stuff flow through, but at the end of the day, like, you can create the greatest work. At the end of the day, you're going to have to go, and your greatest potential is going to be like sitting down for a pee. Like, that's your greatest potential. And it's so normal and it's so human and it's so
Yeah.
like, that's the potential now. And like, yeah, you can bottleneck that too, or you can let it flow.
Exactly. But look at all of the tension and tightness in people's bodies is because we're trying to control that flow of energy. We're trying to control, what it looks like or how much is coming through instead of just surrendering to it. And that's the potential.
Absolutely.
Like, how much can I let come through? Hi, Asha.
So we got a guest. So I think that we have sort of hit on everything in the 3 steps to letting your potential flow.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. And then if you haven't listened to last week's episode number 42, like, go back and listen to it because they all align with each other. And then to put it all together so you can really find out um, what you're holding on to, why you're not living your full potential, and how you can accept your full potential being a certain way. And I think that's really important. So this homework for this episode is going to be similar, and it's going to be something like, how can you find your potential in every single thing that you've got going on? So think about it. If recording with Asha is the highest thing that you're going to do today, then that is your potential. So we are wrapping up, and Erica can be found at Erica Danielle Overshares on all of the Instagrams and ericadanielle.com. I can be found at Allie Duncan Be Seen on all the Instagrams. And you guys, please find us on YouTube and iTunes. Give us 5 stars. Give us some feedback. And yeah, we're loving the episodes. We're loving all the interactions. So reach out with us and give us some love. And next week, we're going to talk a little bit more about mindset. So I hope you join us. All right. Peace out, everybody.